Sup, bro?
Sup, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas With The Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas With The Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie. Every week, we discuss a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Master Gardener.
The Master Gardener.
Is it the?
Hold.
Because I got in a quarrel with my Google search.
Oh, you're right.
Get out of here.
Sorry. Master Gardener. But before we get into that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like I said, this is a show, podcast, where every week we come with a new podcast. It's just me and my bro here talking about movies. It's fun. It's good times. Yeah. Woohoo. So if you like that kind of thing, go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment saying, hi, I like this kind of stuff. Please give me more. And we'll give you more because then we'll do it every week. And blah, 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 blah. Also, let us know what you think of the movie Master Gardener. Also, we're on all podcast platforms. So if you like podcasts, check us out there. Peliculas With The Bros. Ivan, before we get into Master Gardener, what's your lasting thoughts on the last film we covered, Fool's Paradise?
It was a little too hard on Mr. Charlie Kelly.
Really?
I don't change my opinion on it. But I think I was a little too rude to the gentlemen who made it.
So why do you say that, actually?
It's his first movie.
Okay.
That's like the biggest thing. And I feel like we're a little used to like people just nailing it like across the board, or we just don't give them anything and say like, oh, you failed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't remember another movie where it's like their first that we did.
Right. Oh man, that's a hard
Daniels? Oh, it's the second movie.
That it's a good point. And it's kind of my point when I said, I hope he keeps making more films because I think it will get better.
I just think I was too, like, call it quits. Like, in my head.
Okay,
I felt like that's what I put out in the universe.
Gotcha.
But don't call it quits, Charlie Kelly.
I mean, your movie sucked, but keep making more?
Yes, just learn from it.
Okay.
Is the goal.
I thought it was like, oh, the movie wasn't that bad.
No.
I was like, no, the movie was bad.
Come on, let's be realistic here.
All right, Sweet Pea.
Obscene.
You can't just use it out of nowhere. You have to use it where it makes sense. Okay. Ivan, are you ready to learn how to be a horticulturalist?
Yes.
Good. Because Ivan, the movie of the week is Master Gardener. Directed by?
Some guy.
Paul Shrader.
Sure.
The premise of the movie, Norval, is a horticulturalist at the award-winning botanical garden of Gracewood Gardens and is asked by the estate's wealthy owner, Norma, to take her great-grannies, Maya, as an apprentice in hopes of cleaning her life up. Norval is obligated to agree, but why does he have no choice? And what kind of weird relationship does Norval have with Norma? As Norval begins teaching and getting to know Maya, something is triggered in him, which causes him to finally reconcile with his past. With a cast of Joel Sweet Pea Edgerton as as Norval Roth.
Yes.
Sigourney Mother-Loving Weaver as Norma Haverville.
Yes.
And Quintessa the Queen Swindell as Maya.
Yes.
I made those up as I went. Did it sound like it?
Yes.
That sucks.
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea. Ivan, the director of this movie, like I said earlier, is Paul Shrader. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, but upon looking at his filmography, I saw some things. I was like, oh, that's by that. Like, it connected. Even though I probably didn't. I don't think I watched any of them.
Ivan, you just said that you looked up someone's filmography.
Yeah.
I believe, and avid connoisseurs of Peliculas With The Bros, prove me wrong, but I believe this is the first time you ever looked up a director for this podcast. Go.
On the spot. Great question, first of all.
Okay.
I mean, I always kind of look things up. I don't know if it's like...
I think it's just the first time you mentioned it.
Yeah, I think that's it. But just like I went into this blind. So I watched it. I was like, let me see who did this. Let me see who's responsible for this.
Woo!
And then I saw that. And then I saw like, oh, he did this, and this, which I've never seen, but I've heard of.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's established.
He is, Ivan. He's directed over 20 films and written as many. Um, Most notably, he wrote the screenplay for Taxi Driver, the Martin Scorsese classic.
Gross.
And I think he also contributed to Raging Bull. Movie I haven't seen. Have you seen Taxi Driver?
Once a while ago.
Okay, so he's never been a huge success with his films. He's been very hit or miss, and when he does hit, it's just like a modest success. This film, Master Gardener, is part of a 3-film trilogy, a very loose trilogy, called the Lonely Man trilogy.
Okay.
First one is First Reform, starring Ethan Hawke. Second one is The Card Counter, starring Oscar Isaac. Now we have this film, Master Gardener, Joel Edgerton. And he's noted for making the same kind of movie over and over, same kind of ideas, men facing sins, for lack of a more descriptive word. He collaborated with Bruce Springsteen on one of his films ages ago, and this is what the man, Bruce Springsteen, had to say about his type of movies that he makes. You never get out. You get out, sort of. But what you forget is how much the past feels like home. No matter what it is like, you're moved to move away from it, and then you're also obsessed with it. Artists are always trying to figure things out. They can't stop. Those are people we're interested in. I think what, shout out to my washer making that cute little anime noise.
Go.
That should be like our intro to the show.
We just wait or time it.
I think what the man Bruce Springsteen is trying to say is artists tend to talk about the same thing over and over, and they just like skew it 1% to the left or 1% to the right to make a new original story.
Right.
Do you agree with that largely?
I think yes, but I think the Kanyes of the world see that and choose to branch out sometimes. I think like super generally, yeah, like Scorsese's gonna make that mob film a million times. But if he did some sci-fi like Interstellar, not even like that one's grounded. I want to see like a Star Wars where it's really out of his repertoire, I guess.
Right.
I would say like that's courageous as him.
I think like if you grab Scorsese and put him in the Star Wars world, he would make a Scorsese film.
Casino, but how about like in that Casino Planet?
Yep.
Just have that same characters.
And then he's like, alien mobsters. He's like, it has to find a way.
Yeah.
But it would be like that because even when you look at the guy that wrote Andor, I forgot what his name was. He also did like the Bourne movies. And Andor is basically like Bourne, but just like in the Star Wars world.
Yes.
And that is what I see with even like Scorsese or this guy. He like wherever you put him, he's gonna put his vibe to it. And I think the same goes for every artist. Even like when you talk about Kanye.
Oh no.
Like look at his lyrics; they're largely the same.
Yeah.
It's just like the sound, the vibe is different.
Yeah,
the outside vibe is different. Where the inner is like the same thing. It would be the same thing with Scorsese in Star Wars. The outside vibe is different, but the inner is the same.
The core.
Stays. Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. What do we have here? How the sausage was made here on Peliculas with the Bros. We like to look at how the guts and goo of all the movies are made. And this section of the podcast is actually getting like shorter and shorter. I'm getting less interested in it. I think it's because since we're doing newer films, there's not too much to talk about.
Sausages being made.
Yeah, not much reporting on how the sausage was made.
Yes.
But one interesting thing about this film, out of many, Zendaya.
No.
Oh yeah,
She was smart.
she was cast to play Norval. Got him. No, she was gonna be in as
I'll have to watch
Quintessa's
that.
role,
Yeah.
Maya, but I think it was Money Talks type of thing.
Money talks.
Money Talks. Do you think this movie would have been better or worse with Zendaya without giving too much spoilers?
Wouldn't have mattered, I think.
I think it would have been a smidgen better, but it wouldn't give it like a 0.25 extra.
Sure.
It wouldn't have,
Yes.
I should say. Ivan, what'd you think about Master Gardener? He's laughing at you. Paul Shrader.
I don't even know where to go.
Whoa.
It's good.
Wait.
It's good.
Dang, it's good. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Oddly specific film. You were saying like you had no idea you were going into this cold.
Yeah.
Did you know what the movie was about?
I just saw the poster, and that's it.
Any like hoopla about it that you heard? So when I told you we're gonna do this movie, you're like, oh, okay, I guess.
I never heard of it before you told me. I was like, oh, let me look it up. I saw the poster, saw his face. I was like, that's enough for me. And I closed up and then just watched it.
Joel Edgerton, though, any relationships you have with him? Extramarital stuff like that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
Oh.
He was in Great Gatsby.
Yes, he was.
He's in another one. I don't remember. Oh, he was. Wasn't he in isn't he Uncle Ben?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
His claim to fame.
No, Ivan.
Uncle Ben.
No, don't do that to him.
Sure.
Okay. He was in something recently that we watched, but now I forget.
I like his face. It's like a.
Oh yeah.
That's a brick wall of a face.
Oh yeah.
Chiseled brick wall.
Chiseled cement face tank. He has like a tank of a face.
Like if you got like not Picasso, like some old Italian thing, but he had concrete instead of marble. That's what he would make. Like,
yeah.
That's what the form would be.
Yeah, you can definitely see this guy as a serial killer, also like as a major movie star in the 60s.
True.
But like I was saying, it was an oddly specific film. I didn't really know much about it going into it. The title Master Gardener gave me a sense of, okay, maybe he does garden very well.
And
but then there's like a trailer where it's like, you don't, cutting or something like, you don't know. I mean, cutting a leaf feels as good as blowing someone's brains out.
Oh.
That's a very bad quote, but something like that, right? And that gave me a clue that it wasn't just gardening.
Right.
But horticulture, Ivan.
My relation to it? Great question.
Thank you.
Asked by me, actually.
Of course.
Complimenting myself.
Uh-huh.
I don't know anything about it. I was never interested. After this, I'm like, sure, one day I'll get into it one day.
That's what I was gonna go. Like, could you see yourself being like, what kind of soil do I need?
When he had that, like, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I could get into this.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
There's what Ivan's talking about is there's a scene where the Joel Edgerton character grabs a pile of soil and shoves it straight into his face and sniffs it to smell the quality of the soil.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like rabid.
Like once he took off his hands from his face, there was soil in his nose.
Yeah.
That's how much it was in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be a horticulturalist.
One day, Adrian.
One day.
We'll open our garden.
But that vibe it gave, like, even with the title, Master Gardener, and it starts with him kind of explaining his thought process, because the Joel Edgerton character journals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's journaling about how to garden, like what he does in a day, and it's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
And just hearing that, I'm like, is this what the movie's about?
Mm-hmm.
I could go sort of get into this, because also the imagery of like the flowers and all that, how he shot it was kind of captivating. You don't really see movies like that.
I would have preferred like just a movie on gardening, like very specific, like
the drama in gardening.
Yeah, like my azaleas, they're tilted.
Not my Iggy Azaleas.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, because there's like a scene when he journals like, we had to spend the night creating a concoction of something to fight off the bugs that were eating the plants. And you can kind of make that like really dramatic, right? But that's definitely not the movie he wants to make, Paul Shrader. Piggybacking off of that, the movie turns into like describing this reformed neo-Nazi who is the Joel Edgerton character, which I did not see coming at all, and sort of like a redemption arc for him.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that this character exists in real life? A reformed neo-Nazi who killed people, who killed innocent people, becoming this master gardener. And if yes or no, doesn't matter.
The only part where I'm like, I don't know, is like, I just can't imagine like a neo-Nazi being that intelligent enough to pivot into that and have like the emotional intelligence afterwards. Because he seemed like put together.
Right.
Like he did not come off with that vibe, like where I'm like an idiot Nazi sort of thing. Like I would want to see like.
He seemed like a very intellectual guy.
Yeah, and it would be weird for him to be like that while also being a Nazi. Like, was he just stupid before, or was he so brainwashed where he was like, "Oh, it is right to kill people, especially black people." Like, I don't know. But other than that, if that's more like if he wanted to do more with it, like like a little movie prequel, just showing like his neo-Nazi days, like just hearing him talk and hearing like what caused him to flip, because I don't think they ever said. Besides, was it like money or just they had him?
They had him. He flipped because of the cops finding out about him, basically. But they do show flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
They just don't show like the exact details of what he was thinking and what caused him to really flip. You're just left to assume why he flipped.
Yes.
There's also the question of like, so does back to the original question. Does it even matter if this character is believable or not? You stuck. Guys.
My issue wasn't with that part of it being believable. I thought the relationship was like, that's when I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Am I watching something legal?
Yeah. We'll get into that, and I have thoughts on that too. His relationship with Norma, the owner of the estate, is very peculiar.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand it until like they go to bed with each other. But what would you how would you describe that? Like, is Norma allowing him to work with him only if they do it together?
I think it's like a power sort of thing, because she has like she pretty much has a hold on his life in every way.
Yes.
So I think one day she was like, why don't you come up? And then he's like, I really can't say no, can I? But he didn't say that, I assume.
But everything's insinuated that.
Yeah.
It's so like he's obligated.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the relationship. I'm sure he's not like, dang it.
Yeah.
But it's more like, well, I guess I have to.
And that's an interesting thing that the story sets up, and Schrader himself actually does, is like the Joel Edgerton character is this reformed neo-Nazi who used to hate people and kind of like, I would assume, envisions black people still being slaves. But he himself is a slave to Norma, you know? He himself has to do things. And yeah, he may have got into witness relocation program, but he's still in jail with Norma. You know, like he hasn't escaped his fate of paying for what he's done in the past.
Right.
Norma, played by Sigourney Weaver. How do you think she does it? Commanding?
Sure.
Strong?
Yeah.
It's a weird like character too, because she's rude, she's an elitist, and she cares for this great grandniece, whatever. but like she has like something wrong with her in her brain where she's like too picky. Like she wants things done her way.
Yeah.
But there's no real screen time for her to explain like her upbringing or whatever. We just meant to take this character as is.
Yes.
Just an interesting character though. But back to your point of your main problem with this film, which is the romance portion.
Mm.
The romance portion is with the great niece that they bring into the garden for Norval to mentor. And you're right. This does not seem believable at all.
There's people in my theater laughing at like some moments
Yeah.
because it was so awkward, and like it felt like it would be a parody
Yeah.
at times, but it was just so serious and not like this is what the director thought would be like a romantic situation or intimate something. But it's just like, I don't think this is good.
Yeah, the Maya character is essentially a like African American. She is kind of portrayed as like a druggie, like a youth lost to drugs.
She didn't even look like one, like
Right.
at all. She just looked like a kid.
Yeah. Or like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you are like whenever like there was this insinuation that there might be some romanticness between them, I'm like, where did this come out of? Like, there's this point when the Joe Edgerton character was writing in his journal. He's like, something about these two women, Norma and Maya, do something to me. I'm like, well, you sure don't show it with Maya.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were just her teacher, and then all of a sudden, it's like she's your love interest.
Weird.
But I think it's because, like, I think it's lack of care put towards that.
Mm.
Like, Schrader was probably more focused on, like, the overarching story of, like, can this character of a neo-Nazi be forgiven?
I felt like he was redeemed already as like a gardener. Like first scene, he seemed good. Like he obviously did horrible things, but he was just tending a garden, wasn't bothering anyone. I think that's redemption right there.
I think to me, that's more like slavery, though. Or that's being in jail.
But like, I see more like a healthy punishment.
True. Yes. Correct.
Because he's not like being tortured or anything. He's just
correct.
Like
I mean,
he's paying for his crimes.
he kind of is being tortured. Like having to live there, doing that, like it's a form of torture. Having to screw your boss.
Yeah, I mean, that's assuming he like absolutely hated it, because they don't really go into like how much he dislikes that part of it.
True.
Just shows like he does it, but it's not like he's never said, "I did things for you. I hated it."
Right.
It's just like he did it.
Yeah.
He's just too stoic, where like you can't really tell.
Do you think if there was a bit in the movie or more emphasis on like if he liked it or didn't like the normal character, you think it would have made the movie better, or it'd make more sense?
I wouldn't have liked it because I feel like it would have been torture. I don't like if he wanted to be redeemed. I don't think torture is part of redemption.
Yes.
Like just like unrelated, but prison just in general. It should be like a redemption sort of thing, not like, well, you're stuck in this hole forever.
Right. It's not. It shouldn't be so much punishment.
Yes.
It should be more
recuperation.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Rejuvenation.
Something like that.
Like a spa treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mentally.
Imagine it's just prison is just like spa treatments for your mind.
Might go to prison.
Might go to prison, guys. Yeah, and to your point, like, I think he's more focused on like getting redemption on this character, and I know you think he's already redeemed, but the full redemption that Schrader sees is him actually like not working or like choosing to work there, because at the end, spoiler alert, he chooses to stay at the garden, but it's by his own choice, and being in a relationship with someone who he wants to be with. So he's like, now I've earned my freedom, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I could see your point where it's like, not enough. Like you need to
Right.
to dig into that.
I'm cooking. Hold on.
He's cooking at it.
Oh, okay. Say summarize or say.
Uh,
I need to
the
jump
Norval
in.
character,
Yes.
Schrader's point for this movie is like his redemption comes with him choosing to work at the garden and choosing who he wants to be in a relationship with, not so much
Right.
just living without having to go to jail and being a gardener.
I can see that philosophy. I think you just said this, but you also saw. Bleh. I think it's just like overkill. Like he didn't need the love interest to get there. I think he was perfectly fine there. I think it's more like the director's philosophy is like to be truly redeemed, you have to find love again.
I think it's partly that, but I think you would have seen more. You would have understood. You probably would have agreed with Schrader more if he told the story a little bit better. Like, yeah, you need to find love to set yourself free, but this Norval character kind of doesn't show that much love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's very stoic, like you said. So if he was more fleshed out, if the Maya character was a little bit more fleshed out, and you really dig into that theme a little bit more, that meaty theme, then I think it can convert you. But maybe
But
not.
he didn't.
He didn't.
So fail.
But ultimately, do you think a man like a Proudboy could be redeemed? Could they be forgiven? Could a man that killed innocent people be forgiven?
I think, yeah, but I don't know how it would work with this movie. Just because it doesn't feel like true redemption if he was forced to flip, you know?
Yes.
I feel like it would be a mental thing where you're like, oh, I have empathy at last.
Right.
And I realize this is actually harming everyone. Because that's what I assume these racists think. They're like, oh, this is, my racism is good. It's helping people. But I think if they really found out it wasn't, then they'd flip.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just tough. Because I needed like another hour of something. But I don't want this to be 3 hours.
Correct.
For many reasons. Maybe
Yeah.
it was, and he's like, "Oh, let me cut it out because I have to."
Yeah.
And it was actually good at 3 hours.
I don't know. The film feels very like paced, evenly paced, but it does feel missing at the same time. Like the ideas seem original and fresh. The setting feels good. Like I love that he set it in this botanical garden. Like thank you for doing that. I also like how he subverted like the idea of like having to show so much violence. This movie there's moments of violence, but largely it's just like a play.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. There's also the Master Gardener, like the title Master Gardener implying like master race. And then there's like a scene at the very end of the film when he's describing being a horticulturalist and gardening. And he says like, it's basically like controlling life. Being a gardener is like controlling life. Plants have their own lives, but you're trying to like confine that in a certain way. I think that the whole symbolism behind that is pretty interesting. Do you think Norma is rich because of the botanical garden, or does she just have like a lot of money to spend?
I feel like she has a lot of money. Well, doesn't she get it from the fundraiser?
I think she's like a widow, got a bunch of money, and now she's like spends it on whatever she wants. There's a scene when they're driving down the road, and it turns into like a magical garden.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
I was just confused.
Yeah.
Like, because it felt like their lives were coming to an end. Like, it almost felt like rock bottom for them.
Uh-huh.
Just because I was like, this relationship can't really last. It doesn't feel right. And like, where are they going to go? He has no skills besides gardening. If he leaves, he could probably get found by some
FBI agent.
Yeah. It just felt like if he wanted that moment to be happy, it didn't make sense just because it was such an unhappy everything around it. And then them screaming, I was like, what? It was so weird.
It was weird.
The whole movie was awkward.
Really awkward.
Yeah.
There's that scene, I think it's the scene you were talking about too, when basically like a sex scene when they're both naked.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
With
part.
Norma or
Oh no, with
Mia?
Maya, yeah.
Maya?
When you're like, this is is that when the audience was like, can't be true?
Yeah. I don't remember when they laughed, but just like, I mean, when he went to her room,
Yes.
that's when I was like, what? Like, I didn't know this was the movie. I thought it was just like a sort of like father-daughter sort of relationship. Not biological, but like you pick your family, that sort of vibe. Then when that happened, I was like, my word.
My tiny heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand that, yeah, like you're right. It doesn't really add up. But largely what I like is that the director's going for it. Like we complain about movies that are just like very dull and like do the same thing over and over. This movie's trying to do different things. It's definitely not successful on most of them, but it's going for it.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. That's what you think?
The score was good.
Online?
No, the score of the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did like that.
Know who did it?
I heard it was, I don't know.
Blood Orange. Dev Hynes.
Blood Orange?
Dev Hynes? Ever heard of him?
I've heard of Blood Orange. I don't know who Deadeye.
Dev Hynes. He's collaborated with everyone from
Migos.
ASAP Rocky to Britney Spears. Blood Orange. His nickname's his stage name is Blood Orange.
Oh.
He goes by Dev Hynes too. I think he's like an indie singer.
Yes.
But once I heard, I was hearing the soundtrack, I was like, oh, this is like an interesting soundtrack for this movie. Then I looked it up and I was like, oh, of course, it does sound interesting because it's made by an interesting artist. Last question before we rate this movie. What's the best way to break someone's leg? There's a scene in this movie where like they break someone's like kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
How would you break someone's leg?
I would sit on their knee and then.
Oh. Gah! Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Mine is like sit on the couch, put your feet on top of the coffee table.
Oh, and just
step on their knee.
I feel like I would trip and make it embarrassing.
You would trip?
Yeah.
No.
It's like, and then you're just like, oh, that was awkward.
No, you just like curb stomp their knee.
Oh no.
I have out of 5 roses. How many roses is this?
I give it 3.25 roses.
Wow. Better than last week's.
Yes.
Kerfuffle. I give this a 3.75 roses out of 5 roses.
Respectable.
I have to say, I took my daughter to watch this film.
She liked it?
She loved it. 2 months old. Loved the whole thing. But I think we're going to get to a point where she's not going to be able to come because she's going to be too noisy. So, yeah. This is probably her 8th or 7th film that she's watched.
She's absorbing it subconsciously.
Yeah.
You'll see.
She's going to be like the next Spielberg.
Yes.
Hope not. Ivan, the next movie. I'm going to name some movies and then I'm going to say what we're going to do.
Hit me.
So next week or tomorrow or tonight, basically, there's a couple movies coming out. We have About My Father. Have you heard of this film?
No.
Have you heard of Sebastian Maniscalco?
No.
He's a famous comedian. It's a movie about his life, and it stars him and his father, but his father is played by Robert De Niro. The next film on the list is The Machine. Have you heard of this film?
Yeah, I don't want to watch.
It's from another comedian called Bert Kreischer.
Yes.
The other film is, I'm not going to say Little Mermaid because we're not going to do that, You Hurt My Feelings, which is an A24 film, and I heard it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Like, it's good. But what we're really going to do, Ivan, next week, or in a couple days, it's going to be the final episode of Succession. And I heard it's like an hour and a half long.
Oh, you just want to deep dive that?
So let's just deep dive that bad boy.
Come on.
Come on, my boy.
Come on.
So next week, we're going to finish off Succession the way two gentlemen should.
On a podcast.
On a podcast. Be fun. Ivan, it's time for a section called
Things in Touch. Succession.
Okay. Yeah.
Quite the episode.
Quite the freaking episode, Ivan.
Those are like the best speeches
Ever. Like, Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
JFK,
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, Kendall Roy,
Yes.
what's his name? Egan?
Ewan
Roy.
Yes.
Ewan.
Something.
What's his name? Last name?
Greg Hirsch.
Ewan Hirsch.
Okay.
But we'll get into that. Greg, this show Succession is an amazing show. God damn, it's amazing. I rewatched this probably like 2.5 times because it was so good. First time watching it, I was just like so many brain explosions. But recapping it a little bit, it's the funeral episode, Logan's funeral. Some tidbits that happen is Greg, he wants like that link up with the president. That scene right there, it made me, this is like the most I've ever hated Greg. Like he's like, how about a link up, huh? And his like face where it's like he's like a rat, just like, oh, I hate Greg.
But you gotta like respect it, like
Yeah.
where he came from. Now he's talking to the future president for like a little link, you know?
And
It's
then
so
like
insane.
further down the line when he's actually talking to the president, and then what's the other brother, the older brother, the oldest brother, Connor comes in and he's like, hey Connor, get in here.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, thanks, man. And they're all like chatting with the president.
Yeah.
Mattson is hilarious in this episode when they're discussing whether or not Shiv should be the CEO of Waystar when he takes over. He's like, well, you know what I heard? I heard you're... I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my God, what a weirdo.
Yeah. Insane.
The mistresses of Logan.
All lined up like the Avengers.
Yeah. I like how the their mom just like is the instigator, and she's like, here, come on, let me go introduce you to. But
The
it all
rest
works
of
out.
them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then Logan's brother's epic speech. What were you expecting when he went up? Were you expecting like...
I knew it would be good. Like he's a smart guy, and I knew like, you know, if he was just tearing into him, he would have been like, get out of here. But there's points where he was like, I love my brother.
Yeah.
So they couldn't kick him out.
I like when he's like,
genius.
I love my brother, I suppose.
Yeah. So good.
And just like hearing why Logan is probably like mentally disabled with his thinking that he killed his baby
sister.
Yeah. And then when he starts calling him out, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Just and the way he calls him out, like how he describes how he brought out the evil in people. I'm like, oh, that's such a meaty text. I love it.
Because he didn't stutter or be like, he was this and that. He was just like, he brought out this.
Yeah. It was like poetic.
Yes.
Very poetic.
Yes.
And then Rome is supposed to give a eulogy and just gets annihilated.
I didn't expect it, but when he was like practicing his speech, it felt like, you're really gonna say this? Like, don't I perhaps remind you of him? Like,
I don't think he was gonna say that
Oh, but still,
because he was like saying random stuff too.
Yeah.
When he was practicing.
Okay. How crazy of him to act that
Yes.
insane.
And when he goes up to give the eulogy and he breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, it's hilarious. For me, at least, like him just like stuttering and not knowing what to do with himself.
Yeah.
But then when he breaks down crying, I felt really bad for him.
Like, oh, my bad.
Like it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And which is crazy for something to make me feel like hella funny to like hella sad.
Yeah.
And then Kendall.
A monster. A beast. Born. It was super good.
Super good.
How
like
he flipped it. So insane.
yeah. Like being able to give a eulogy where he's like, yeah, my dad was super mean, but without him, what's that word? Corpusculars?
Corpuscles.
Corpuscles. Bloody life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just what a speech.
On the fly too, you know?
Yeah.
Technically.
But there was a part where, like you said, Rome was practicing the speech, and he said like, cable that we laid, satellites that we created, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said the same thing in the speech too. I think that's what Kendall said in the speech. Am I wrong?
I don't remember him saying cable.
Okay.
I know he said like we made movies, TV, life, living,
Bloody, bloody, ugly life.
So good.
When he's like, my father made me and my siblings. And then they cut to his mom and she's like, well, I mean, I had a little to do with it too, but sure, I guess you could say that. Sucking up to the president.
Would I? Sure.
But like how everyone, once he comes into the room, Mencken, the actor who portrays Mencken, he comes into the room and everyone's just like eyes on him. And they're like, let me take a bite out of him and let me take what I can from him. And he's just like, I love how he plays this character. He just takes up the information. He's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'll think about it. He's just like making his deals. Like, what's the best I can get?
Yep.
So good. And then Mattson, he's got a little deal.
I don't know what. So he calls Shiv up later, and he's like, "Yeah, we got it."
Mm-hmm.
But what does he have? What did he say he has?
I think just not to kill the deal. So maybe say nothing, and then he'll just have an American CEO. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. And then just lastly, Kendall going full Michael Corleone, just like embracing the dark side. When he tells that, I forgot his name, but
Bodyguard.
Like, what?
The bodyguard or Hugo?
Both. Hugo first.
Woof woof.
You'll be my dog. There'll be scraps on the table, but the scraps will be millions. What do you think? Woof woof.
I would have barked louder than on the floor.
Here you go. No, bad boy. Bad boy. There you go. Good
Just
boy.
petting him on his little bald head.
And then when he's like, "How about you come work for me?" When he tells what's his name?
Bodyguard.
The bodyguard. That was like, dang.
And the bodyguard's like, I see you.
Yeah.
Just
Just crazy. Kendall's, but that part is the ups and downs of Kendall are kind of outrageous, like almost like unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Where like in the last episode, basically he was getting manhandled by Rome.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, he's manhandling Rome.
Yeah.
So it's just like ups and downs, but
yeah,
I loved it. I mean, it's dramatic, so.
It just, I think when you're in that, because it feels all coming to an end. So any slip up does feel like you're going to fall. But if you see that opportunity, it's like, boom, now you're instantly at the top. So I think that's like what Kendall did. Like he was, I don't know. Then he saw that opportunity, and when he did that speech, he's like, "Oh, I think I have it right now. Like I have the ball." That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like him. He's a good guy. Hope he wins. Good guy.
What does Logan say? My boy was
My number one boy.
my number one boy.
My number one boy. My number one boy.
But when you were in the light, it was so warm.
Yes.
Shiv the Shiv.
No.
I was listening to a song called "No Friends in the Industry" by the great Drake, and the opening line he says, "I was young angel, but the ninjas turned me evil."
Okay.
And I thought of Kendall. I was young. He must have seen himself as an angel coming to grace everything, but then realizing that this world does not need an angel. I need to be evil to beat these guys.
I need to be a devil.
Devil.
A devil.
Devil.
Yes.
Ivan, give me a predict for next week.
I think Shiv's going to lose hard. I can see Kendall falling horribly. Or he just somehow wins something and then just continues his dad's legacy as horribly as his dad is.
Mm-hmm.
Roman, I don't know.
Did Roman die?
Pretty much. I don't know. Maybe he'll latch onto somebody.
So you're basically implying that Matsson's gonna take the company and leave Shiv out, something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do you think there's gonna be like a flash forward?
I was imagining like Harry Potter, and everyone's like aged, but like not well aged.
Yeah. Horrible. Yes.
Just like Kendall's adopted sons, like come together. We want our piece of the pie.
Oh.
That sort of. I don't know. If they do it, I'm sure it will be in good taste.
Okay.
I don't know if it needs it.
Do you think when like the final scene ends, it's gonna be something that leaves us like, what the heck? Or is it gonna be like, damn?
Well, Mad Men end, and that was like pretty perfect. It was just him, like it was a nothing ending, but then with the Coca-Cola commercial.
Yes.
Where.
And then what's the other mobster show?
Sopranos.
Sopranos was like a what the heck, right? Like what happened?
I guess,
No, it's just like a Fade to Black or like a
yeah.
black. But like, will this show end with like a final thing, or will it be like?
I think it'll be like closer to Sopranos, where you're like, what, but it'll be like, okay, sure, but what?
Is it okay, sure? As in like like
that's technically the right choice to do, but I don't
Okay.
know if I like it, just because I love them, the characters.
I want it to end where it's like, because like this whole show, it's not about who's gonna succeed. Like that's the way to get the casuals in, right?
Right.
But the show's really trying to say, this shit is bad for the earth.
Yes.
So I want it to end where it's like, you feel that we're like, this is bad for all of us, for these guys, and for our future.
Yeah, that's why I think Kendall can't win, just because if he wins, it would have to be some horrible loss along the way. Maybe like his kid dies in some way, like, oh, I can't live with my dad who did this.
Or he loses full control.
Something like that. Something where it's like
he pays a big price.
Yeah, in some way. Just like so people don't romanticize Kendall.
So what if Shiv gets US CEO? Are you happy with that?
I don't know if it would make sense. Like it's too nice of an ending for her.
Right. So you need everyone to be on the downside for you to feel like it's a good ending.
Yeah. In some way, yeah.
What if Rome's like the only good ending, but his ending's like, I'm just out. I'm going to go to India.
So I'm going to just sail the seas until I find something.
Yeah. Are you happy with that? Or no, he needs to suffer more too.
I don't think he needs to suffer.
Okay.
I think he's like he's good with some redemption.
Okay. Even though he did hire Mencken, basically.
Yeah, but now he's unhireable forever.
Okay.
Roman is.
Ivan, Succession next week. It's gonna be fun.
Ready.
Fast and Furious. Fast X was released. Let me do some quick numbers crunching, but from all accounts, it's a horrible movie, which is predictable.
It's insane that like.
So the budget, fucking shit. The budget is $340. The box office is $370 after like 2 weeks, basically, or a week and a half, which bodes well for them. They're probably gonna make
Billy?
800. I don't think they're gonna make $1 billion.
I want to see this charted like budget versus box office. I'm sure it's like, but over here it's like, Fast 25. Watch out.
So I'm glad you asked that because I watched an interview with the horrible Ludacris, and they asked him like, do you make these movies to get like crazier and crazier every time? He just gave some dumb answer. I hate Ludacris now. And then he also was like, and also another thing, people ask the dumbest question, like, why do we keep making this movie? Money.
I like him.
And then he's like,
He's like money.
the movie costs $200 million to make, and we make $1 billion. We're always gonna keep making this movie. It's about the bottom line. And I'm like, I
Poor
hate
guy.
you, Ludacris. I hate you.
What a ludicrous man.
I'm so glad we didn't do it.
They'll go down eventually.
Okay. Promise?
Yeah.
Ivan, what else have you watched on the tubes?
Watching Atlanta
Oh, where are you?
season 2.
What are you thinking?
Midway. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Is it like a 9 out of 10 right now?
Yeah, I think like top 20 show.
It's gonna get crazy.
I heard.
I feel like,
I'm not ready.
well, I think when it gets crazy, you're not into that kind of art.
There's already a good amount of surreal moments in it. I don't know. If it's done well, I'll respect it.
Did you already see the Migos episode?
Yes.
Was that good?
Yeah.
Did you see an episode where there's like a creepy white?
I just saw that today.
How was that?
That was good.
Like creepy? Good? Like how good?
Out of 10 or what?
Is there like a 10 out of 10 episode in, or is everything like 9?
I don't know if I could ever call on episode 10 just because, like, relax.
Did you think this episode was a 10 out of 10? Like near perfect?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
but then those are rare. I
Was
think, like, for Mad Men, maybe the suitcase episode, that's like a 10 out of 10. Succession, this one was. But generally, they're like 9s. It's just hard to, like, a 10 I would have to watch and be like, what? Like, my life would have to shift in some way.
Red Wedding?
Yeah.
That was freaking crazy.
Yeah. I would have just been like, I can take it.
Come on.
That's all
You'd be like Rocky when they do like the ab workout. You're like,
ting, 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 ting. That's all you got.
oh. He's eating bread, I think.
No, it was people.
Oh, okay.
It's good. I don't know. I mean, they're as good as I think they can be. Just since they're so like lighthearted, it's hard to be like, that's a 10, because it's not very like impactful. You know, like I'm not moved by something like a comedy episode. Like
Yeah.
it's
Is any episode on Barry 10 out of 10? Without spoilers.
Maybe
Okay. That's fair if you don't know.
in this last season there's one part where I was like, and it wasn't even like deep. It was just crazy they did it. I guess.
Yes.
You should watch.
I will. I just need a lot of time because I got babies.
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 Baby.
It's funny yesterday. It's so hard to watch TV now. Like, there's no time with my baby.
Baby.
So, like, I just put something on, and then knowing like my attention is gonna be out of 100%, it's probably like 15%. So I was like, they're on Mad Men, and I put on the first episode of the first season, and my wife was sitting on the couch, and the theme music plays, and I look over at her, and she's like,
Surprised?
yeah, like, are you really watching this? And I was like, don't say anything, don't say anything. I know, I get it. Just let me. And she's like,
It's crazy how like Mad Men is so like much of a part of me and you too, I assume. But I don't tell anyone, you know? Like if I told someone I watched this 10 times and I probably watch it to sleep many times and like I really almost study it in a way. Like it's like a hobby that isn't a hobby, you know?
there's yeah, but to that point, it could be seen as like psychopathic.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a head coach for the Boston Celtics, and he gave an interview where he said, I watch The Town 4 times a week.
The Town?
Yeah, the movie by Ben Affleck.
I mean, it's 2 hours. That's different.
But he watches it 4 times a week, and everyone's like, is this guy okay?
Yeah.
Because there's also like memes about him being like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Because of his eyes. But yeah, it is crazy that like I mean, when you look at anyone, you can't tell usually like, oh, they spend so much time doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like, what other obscure things do other people have that like, it would just literally never come up in conversation, and even if it's close to it, like you wouldn't admit it just because like, you can't really explain why you watched it 10 times,
right?
Without like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
How many hours is Mad?
Yeah.
7 season, 15, 10 episodes. It's a lot.
Psychopath.
Yes.
What else? I started watching the Chippendale movie on Disney. Okay. It was pretty good. Like, it was very meta.
3D, 2D animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was meta.
Yes.
So that was interesting. But I can't tell you if it was good or not because I didn't really pay attention. I think that's it randomly. What else for you? Games? How's the Minecraft going?
It's crafting, it's mining. It's well underway. Projects, great overhead, good optics. Generally,
It plays.
it plays.
Yeah.
I play Minecraft.
Just so you know.
Yes. It's good. It's good.
Any juice that I can see?
I have them. I'll show you later, but.
Okay. Like,
It was just like that perfect silence that made me laugh.
yeah.
I'm just seeing like, because I could see how far I could expand just like straight up building, but I also know like I have to stop at a point to record things instead of just like infinitely building something.
Right.
Because I could go forever, but then I'd never record anything. So it's like there's a point where I have to like kill the baby, you know, which is insane. But I'm realizing like I see the point now, but it's gonna, because I could always go back and then just keep going.
Yep.
But yeah, more work.
Yeah, I think it's like setting
Limits.
You definitely need to set limits because if not, you're just going to create like too much. And yeah, you have all these things to play with, but fail fast.
Fail fast 10. Fast 10.
Fail fast 10. Starring
Vin Diesel. Oh.
Ivan as Vin Diesel playing Toretto. Family.
You didn't take my car.
What if Fast 11, they hear like a woof, woof. Here comes a car.
Dun, 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 dun. I just imagine he press it, boom, a nuke just explodes. Then you see from the shadow the little Batman, the car. Dun, dun, dun.
Evan, anything else for this week before we head out? Music,
I
TV.
feel like there's a music thing. This is old, but the baby had like a hit.
He did?
He had a hit.
What happened?
He just made one. It's
Wow.
crazy. He had a 3-track LP. I think it was released like a month ago, but I saw it on TikTok. Like they use. That's how I see what are hits by what TikTok just plays over and over again.
Yep.
And that's the hit, and it's a hit. Like you listen, like, oh, that's a hit.
So
It's a hit.
the comeback, the comeback.
I think it's just like, oh, you can't really count people out. I don't think he's coming back, but I think everyone's capable of a hit.
I feel like maybe it's just I'm so far removed, but I literally feel like hip hop is dead. Like I don't hear anything. Like there's no song that's popping. I feel like there's no music that's popping at all right now. Or, am I wrong or am I right?
There's something happening. Something suspicious. I don't know, but it's a hit. Listen to it. It was kind of like, oh wow, this is what rap was, and you cry a little.
Really?
You cry. You cry.
Is it emotional?
No, it's fun. It's a fun song.
I was I guess you just made my synapse fire. I was listening to I watched a video clip of the Conan O'Brien podcast with Bill Hader.
Oh, okay. I don't think I watched it.
And they were talking about Don Rickles.
Yes.
And I watched the clip they were talking about where it's Denzel Washington and Don Rickles at the late night show with David Letterman.
Yes.
Have you watched that?
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like, and it made me think, like, I want Don Rickles in my life. Just a guy that's like, what's the matter with you, man? Get some chutzpah.
Hey, this ugly lady over here, that's your wife? That's your wife? She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
I'm messing with you. She's a doll. I just need that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we all need an uncle like that.
I was in a little, a Rickling phase.
Oh.
Like a baby version of the Elvis phase, you know? Elvis that was another beast.
That was like 5 years out of your life.
Yes, definitely.
I hear you're still recovering.
Hey, no. I was about to play song. But he's definitely like, Don Rickles is definitely like top 5 at least comedian, just because it's insane how fast he is and how like he can, like, a lot of his jokes are super similar, so it's just like tweak it.
Yeah.
Okay, woman, ugly wife. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's still funny each time because he tweaks it, like, oh, look at her black hair, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's just from like years and decades of doing that. He has it like perfected. I think he died recently, but even in his old age,
like 8 years ago.
Even in his old age, he was still like, you could tell like when you master a craft, it'll stick with you forever, no matter what. Because he was 90 and still on it completely in any way, and he's good. He's a good guy. I miss him.
Miss him every day. Shout out to the Ricks. Rick the Pick. That's all I got. Rickles.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right. Next week, Succession finale. We'll cover it since the movies next week aren't too appetizing for our taste. And then the week after that, I think it's
movie bonanza. With a lot of stuff. It's gonna summer starting.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of movies coming out.
Yeah. Even
Little Mermaid. I mean, it's gonna make $1 billion.
I kind of want to watch it.
I mean, I'm probably gonna watch it, but I don't really want to talk about it.
Let's pretend we'll never watch it, but we'll watch it.
Who knows? Maybe Things and Such next week is Little Mermaid.
I'm a little down for the singing. Like, I want to see like some crisp 10 out of 10 belt your heart out singing. I'm not too interested in the kids because I like Beauty and the Beast a lot. like more than I thought I would.
Which one?
The remake, live
Me
action.
too, but everyone hates it.
I think they just rose tinted glasses to like the original, which I don't blame them. But as is, it's not bad. It's the same movie. It looks great.
But I think it's also like you're killing art by not having art. You're just having fake CGI.
Oh,
things.
but still, like
Which I definitely get that, but that doesn't mean it's a bad
I don't
movie.
think those people even ever make anything who say like you're killing original art, because like everything's stolen. Like all the artists steal.
But like if you look at like Flounder in Little Mermaid does not look as good as Flounder in Little Mermaid
Yeah,
art.
I don't think it's always gonna work. Like I like Beauty and the Beast. I think that's good. But Lion King, I think that was a miss. I never watched it.
Ooh, Lion King was a miss.
But
No.
Oh.
In the night. There's like that little voice that comes out of nowhere.
I only hear the screaming.
A circle light. Okay.
I was vibing.
Yep.
It could be good, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm always like, let them make it. If they fail, they'll learn, and if not, they'll just go down. You know?
Best live action Disney movie, go. Based off a classic.
Name some.
Jungle Book, Lion King, Mulan, Little Mermaid. Hercules is gonna come out by Guy Ritchie. Aladdin.
Probably that Hercules movie. That's gonna be the best one. The one I haven't
Just
seen.
Pawning off to the future.
Yes.
Nice.
Maybe Beating the Beast.
Beauty and Beast. Yeah.
I think that it was good. I don't know. I never even watched the first one, honestly.
Maybe that's the issue, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Sucks.
That being said, we'll be back next week. We'll probably talk Little Mermaid and stuff, but definitely Succession. Peace out.
Bye.